On this episode of Service My Ride, we're replacing the factory head unit with a Sony Android. G'day guys, today we will be replacing the single din factory head unit in the car, and we're going to be replacing it with a double din Sony head unit. It's for Apple and Android, and all these products can be picked up from Supercheap Auto, the main sponsor of this video. So what we're going to do here is install the double din stereo up the top. We're going to move the trip computer down here where the stereo currently sits. Now to do that, you've got to buy a few Facia kits, which is okay. It's not that expensive. And once this is done, it's all going to look nice and neat. So the first thing we'll do is pull out the center console and we can get started. When you are pulling the dash apart, I highly recommend using a service manual just to locate where all the hidden clips and screws are. The last thing that we want to do is be breaking parts and have missing interior panels when we go to reinstall them back into the car. So what have we got here in this AeroPro box? We've got the double din hood with a single din insert, and we've also got the relocation for the trip computer. Unfortunately, relocating the trip computer isn't as easy as just mounting it somewhere new in the dash. You'll need to strip it down to just the circuit board and the screen. And if you need any other info, I'll leave a link with a full list of instructions in the description below. So by using a small flat-headed screwdriver and a clip removal tool, we can now start to strip down the trip computer. And the first thing that we need to do is remove the 4 screws that are holding the brackets on. And by undoing all the clips, we can now remove the backing plate. And then remove the compass module by using a small flat-headed screwdriver to release the cable. And the last thing that you need to do is remove the 4 screws that's holding in the screen. And before you throw away the old fascia, you'll want to make sure you remove the perspex screen from the back. And you don't need to remove the buttons because we've got new ones to replace them. So remove the fascia from the packaging and insert the new buttons. Now the buttons will need to be able to slide freely, so if they're a little bit tight, you can file them down. And to reduce the buttons from rattling or vibrating, we are going to install a piece of foam on the back of the buttons. Then you can grab your perspex screen and clip it into the new fascia. Now before you add the circuit board, make sure the foam is covering the buttons before tightening down the 2 screws holding the circuit board to the fascia. So on our test fit, we have seen that there's a capacitor that's going to make contact with the interior panel. Now this isn't a big issue, we just need to grab our marker, make a small mark, and then we can drill a hole to make our clearance. So after drilling a small hole and a quick test fit, you can see just how far that capacitor was poking out. And we are so close to getting this back into the car. The last thing we need to do is add these 4 retaining clips to the back of the trip computer. Then we can fit it into the interior panel, make sure that we poke through that wire for the compass, and once we reattach the backing plate, it's ready to be reinstalled back into the car. And don't forget to clip in the compass module before doing so. So we've got all our cables
now up the top here, and have our main one down the bottom here for the new computer. Now we can go and plug all the bottom half of our dash back in. Sounded like a click. Let's grab the key. And of course the steering wheel looks got to be on.
And after relocating the trip computer, it is alive again. So now we can install the interior panel back into the car.
Now it's time to open up this bad boy and see how we're going to fit this in.
We're now at the exciting point of the install. Doing an unboxing on a new product is so exciting. Everything required to finish off this install is included in the box, including the USB cable and the microphone.
So, let's have a go at doing without that first. But we might need that later on. So, I'm not sure if we need any of this because we should have a harness to plug and play. Microphone for the phone, which is pretty cool. And our USB cable. And a little Velcro strap with some screws. Alright. Wow, look at that baby.
We can now mount our new stereo, using the supplied side wings to mount them to the new Facia kit. We can now secure it into place using the 4 supplied screws.
So we've finally got the stereo mounted into the new Facia. Now it's time to connect it back up to the factory wiring harness. Now AeroPro have released these 2 patch leads, and quite simple, it's got step 1 and then step 2. Step 1 connects to the factory leads because these obviously aren't going to fit straight into the Sony. Now these are made for the Sony, you can get them for any stereo. So first we're going to plug these ones into the factory ones, and then we'll go to step 2 in just a second. Plug that until we hear it click. Next one we need to do is, while we're in here, we can connect the earth wire, which goes into the earth in the car. Okay, that one can plug in there, that's for the auto antenna. Pink wire, unsure, don't need that one. Okay, now we've got this other small little plug which is for our remote. Now this only goes in one way, and we'll plug that probably, maybe we'll try this end. Yep, plug that one into there. The next wire will come out in like so. Now that should be for your steering wheel controls. These other 2, once we get our harness, and you can see them, they'll match up quite well. You've got purple, grey, white and green, and same one here, purple, grey, white and green, so they're your speakers. So we can plug that one in if it wants to go in. And the other side, not that one. Plug that one into there. Okay, so we've got a parking brake cable which we're not going to connect at the moment. We've also got the amp trigger wire and a reverse trigger wire. We're not going to use any of those. We're just going to plug this one now straight into the back of the stereo. So we've run the wires through the dash. We've got our USB and we've got our microphone cable. We've poked that in behind and we've got it running out through the back of the dash here, which we can run up to the pillar. Now we just need to connect it all to the stereo. The USB lead, 50-50, and you always get it in the wrong way. Next one we need to do is the main harness to the stereo, which is that one. Push it in till you hear the click. Okay, the next one is our microphone for the phone. The last one we need to do is tuck this into the antenna right on the end here. So push him in. Get your hand in there. You can feel it slide into the hole where the antenna goes. Make sure you... So we've got it all sitting there. Now before we clip it in, we just want to turn it on, make sure everything's working, go through all our controls, and we can clip it in and be done with that. So we'll turn the key on. We've got power. Alright, so we've got sound coming through all the speakers. Everything's working fine, the screen's working. Now we can clip all that back into place and finish putting all the interior back into the car, and we are done.